All right, take number 2. We have returned.
We've discovered the source of the leak, but we won't disclose unless they do.
Oh, I fucked it up. Bering did it. What a cunt.
Yes, the bear is responsible. But until we live in a world where penises can be seen on the internet without for fear of being judged, shamed, or blocked, we cannot. We have to abide by the system in the interim. So I'm sorry. Maybe one day, one day, your uncut cockhead can be seen on YouTube and nobody will judge it. So, but that today is not that day.
No, unfortunately, it's not.
Ladies and gentlemen, the footage is not lost. I will uncover it and I will then cover it, so to speak. so as to immortalize that moment of glory there.
Yeah. We'll get right on that.
Yeah.
Right on it.
But one day we'll be able to rock our German helmets with pride. But today is not that day. So, Allison, I'm going to give you the floor again.
Okay, so I'm going to re-shill because this is everybody's favorite part of the program. So, I wanted to thank all the patrons who, again, this is Shill Week here at the Badgernado. So thank you, because you responded very generously, and I really appreciate it. So, and we really appreciate it. It will go to furthering our efforts. But I'm since you're so generous, I'm going to shill this forward, and I'm going to present 2 other opportunities to get involved, or to throw your bucks at something. The first one is Writer Riot. I believe I've closed all of my freaking windows, which means I have to rely on my memory, and everybody knows that I can't remember shit. But the first one is at blacktridentmedia.com. You can see the link in the low bar. It is essentially a call out for writers to come together to create an anthology, the proceeds of which will go to benefit male victims of domestic violence. So it's in the low bar. Link is in the low bar. It's called blacktridentmedia.com. The second one is a documentary by Mike Cernovich called Silenced, and it's on Kickstarter, and it's all about what's happening in media and on social media to silence dissenting viewpoints. And if you want to see that, go into the low bar and click that, or go onto Kickstarter and search for Silenced. War on Free Speech, I believe, is the subtitle. And yeah, that's the shill in a nutshell.
All right.
Yes, and I'm gonna. Now I'm really worried about leaving because last time I left, it all went to hell.
We've got it under control, Alison. We've got it under control. Fuck.
Okay, all right. If it does again, I think I'll probably have to lurk in every show from now on, just for fear that a rush of peen will come through. Okay, but I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna hit.
We have been confirmed. You know why all the peens came in? It's because of Sugartits. They were drawn to her. They were drawn to her.
What's Dr. Random McCam's avatar? That kind of looks like a cartoon penis. What is that?
It's an embryo of sort of an embryo, sort of a fetus, sort of somewhere in between them.
It's a confused fetus.
Very, yes.
It's very
and
bewildered.
It's difficult to tell the difference between a fetus and a cock. Oh, I'll tell you.
But this we get away with for some reason. All right, so let's get into the questions while we can before all the peens come. Bering and Sugartits. First off, how did you guys meet? And was it over? Did you guys bond over fighting against feminist faggotry, or did you discover it first? And how did you?
Sugartits?
I'll take the first part. I think it's been about 13 years we've been together. Yeah, how did we meet? How did we meet?
We met at a barbecue, I think.
Oh yeah, that's it. Nothing special about that one.
Oh, was there drinking involved? Because it seems like it's a little vague.
Plus, it's 6 o'clock in the fucking morning here. Thanks for the scheduling, guys.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, we met at a barbecue between like mutual friends and just kind of liked each other, and then eventually fucked, and then here we are. Oh. And the feminism question, I've got a mate who sort of watches all you guys and all the usual shitlords, and he introduced me. I introduced Tits, who hated the whole topic. She used to hate me watching YouTube videos for ages, but then
Oh yeah.
yeah, now she doesn't. So there you go.
Okay. And yeah, so like, would you say that there's a lot of feminism in Australia, or it's grown, or I'm a little surprised by that, but
Yeah, I reckon it's growing, which is horrible to say, but I think it is growing.
yeah, it seems like it's ramping up everywhere. Have you ever had any exciting real life run-ins with feminists or feminism?
No, not really. I don't think so. We haven't, have we, Tits?
No.
Yeah, no, it's only internet stuff, but yeah, no, I don't much care for feminists, so I don't think I'd like that.
Have you run into a lot of feminism in, like, okay, did you guys run into a lot of it in academia? Did you go to, like, notice it maybe in, I don't know if you guys have high school there, I'm sorry, or like in university or anything like that?
No, not really.
No.
I mean, I'm 31 and Tits is 29 or 30 or something. So it's a fair while ago. We were in academia, but no, I didn't notice a hell of a lot of it anyway. So it might have been there, but I wasn't really looking for it.
I didn't
Well, I
notice
was
it
the
either,
only
to be
girl
honest.
in my class in uni, so.
You don't notice these things until you get deep into the arguments, do you? You don't even know who's a feminist.
Yeah.
Anyone.
And I tell you what, the thing that sort of shits you when you are into it, or when you are going through it as much as we are, Doc, is you see people who don't know much about it and the ridiculous bullshit that they spew, and to them it's kind of you're feminist, and you just sort of think, why aren't you fucking enraged? Don't you know how much these people suck ass, But do you get that feeling like when you've just got to shut up?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I'm just asking Doc. Do you get that feeling, Doc, when you're talking to people who don't sort of get into it as much as you do, and they're sort of just very they're just very apathetic about feminism?
It's well, I don't know if it's apathy, but more people would just rather not talk about it. They'd actively rather not talk about it.
Yeah.
There's something. It's like the religion and politics thing, because it basically is religion and politics, isn't it?
Oh, it is, yeah.
At the same time, it's this weird amorphous creature made of equal parts religion and politics.
Remember when they went to the Vatican and shoved crucifixes up their asses?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
On the steps, right?
Yeah.
Like right up front, yeah. Yeah, it's basically religion clashing with religion. It's like the iconoclast all over again, in many ways.
What are they going to do in front of the mosques? Have they? Give us some ideas, ladies. What are you going to shove up yourselves in front of the mosques?
They're not AK-47?
Do a David Cameron. Do a fucking David Cameron. Like, stick something inside a pig in front of the mosque.
A kebab?
To protest what they do. Or is not as bad as the fucking.
What is that pig thing? What did he do? Did he get sucked off by a pig or something? What's the story there?
He apparently put his dick in a dead pig's head via its mouth.
Nice.
But this is just a rumor that some dude wrote in a book. We don't even know if it's true. We just really wanted it to be true, so we made shit.
But didn't he backpedal on something that he wouldn't have had to if he didn't fuck said pig's mouth? Like, wasn't that the giveaway? I'm just sort of going off.
I don't think it's just one of those stories they tell about the weird, fucking things that hot lads do in universities. They all end up as politicians eventually, but for some reason they have to do this. It's much like the fucking skull and bones things in the States, or any fucking fraternity initiation. It
Wank
involves
off in a
being
coffin or something.
insanely drunk and doing sexual things with dead animals or what have you. I think they do it just so that they've got something on you. It's a hell of a racket. Just find lots of very young, sort of posh people that are destined to be politicians, and get photos of you getting drunk and doing debaucherous things with them, and boom, you're made for life as soon as they become famous. Remember this night, David? And then $1,000 check, please.
Oh, well, effective.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You know, to what you were saying about the people's what appears to be apathy towards feminism, I do run into it myself when I try to say, look at how, you know, here are some examples of them doing anywhere from, you know, just the regular sort of middle of the road stuff that's still really, you know, anti-male, damaging to women, to the super extreme, you know, let me paint with my menstrual blood type shit at the far end. And a lot of times people who are, well, I would call them normies, they respond, you know, like they have problems with feminazis, what they call feminazis, which are the super extreme ones, you know, that want to...
The ones that just want to fix the wage gap.
Yeah, yeah, but they still think that feminism is needed. They still think that feminism is needed, and that we just need to, like, you know, call out the excesses, you know, the extreme stuff. And then because they think the extreme stuff doesn't actually have a lot of influence, they don't think it's worth talking about, and they'd rather just sort of, you know, look at the sort of more reasonable things that feminism wants, and they think that feminism is the only way to get there, and of course they believe in the existence of those things too. So, like the wage gap, like I said, I have debunked it and told people about it several times in real life, and they still are trying to find ways to make it real. Like, but what if, you know, and they just don't want to accept that it's a myth. Like, they're just sort of like, but what about this? What about this? You know, also with the sentencing gap, it's the same thing. They'll be like, well, maybe women they get more sympathy out of the judge, and that's why they get lighter sentences, and maybe it's the judge and the jury that's the problem, and not necessarily, you know, like it's not necessarily a man problem. I'm like, but you haven't actually made an argument against what I'm saying. You're just trying to find another way to make it about sexism. So against women, like even in that case, it's like, yeah, the women are victims of lighter sentences. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I've noticed that most people who are sort of, like I said, average people, if you show them the excesses, they will say, yes, I think that that's excessive and ridiculous. But the average stuff, the normal, what we consider reasonable feminism, they will completely back up, and they don't want to argue against it. And I think that's more like what Mike was saying. Like, they don't find it comfortable to even propose the idea that feminism may not be necessary, and in many ways it may have never been necessary.
Well, they think it's the truth is the problem. So they think, well, the extremists are extreme at telling the truth, and the moderates are telling the truth. It hasn't occurred to them. No, the extremists are lying, and the moderates are also lying.
Yes.
I don't frankly give a fuck. They're all lying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Where are you from, Ron?
I am from Chicago. Yes, the States. So I'm I just live here in Chirac. It's probably supposedly one of the rougher parts of the country. Although honestly, it's a little overblown. It's not really that bad, depending on where you are. But yes, Chicago. Its reputation precedes it.
You have a fair bit of gang shootings in that, don't you?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, Chicago has a fair few gang shootings in that, don't it?
Oh yeah, that was what I'm saying. But it's such a large city, though, that you know, if you live in certain parts of the city, you'll probably never see anything. Like I live in an area that used to be really tough and really high in crime. And while there's still crime here, in this part of this particular neighborhood, it's so quiet most of the time. It's actually changing quite a bit. But there are parts of the city that I will never go. It seriously goes from Metropolis to Mad Max. And you can see it. Like you enter a certain neighborhood, and all of a sudden there's nothing but liquor stores and fast food places where all the cooking is done behind bulletproof glass. And you know that you've entered a world of hurt, You don't want to stay there.
But do the lovely citizens of these areas not venture out of these areas? Do they just stay in there?
Most of the time, the people who live in those areas don't leave. I mean, most people sort of stay in their areas, and they live their lives for the most part without experiencing much outside of it. But it's not as though it's a gated community. Like, you can freely go wherever you wish. It just so happens that a lot of people who live in the really crime-ridden, low-income areas, they can pretty much get whatever it is they need out of life right there, so they don't tend to venture outside. And there are good people that are really trying to get out of those situations that are also there, but unfortunately, the crime that happens in the really bad parts of Chicago also contributes to the poverty, because it makes it very difficult for people to start businesses. One of the things that I find is really interesting is if when I go to those, if I have to pass through a neighborhood like that, or let's say I have to catch a bus there, I might stop in they have those restaurants I was talking about that are like these tiny greasy spoons where all the guys cook food behind bulletproof glass, and you have to put the money on this rotating, I don't know, it's like a spindly thing where you put the money in and they spin it around and they have the food there. Like, that's how much protection they feel like they need. And the funny thing about it is the people who run those businesses and the liquor stores and stuff, they're actually often Middle Eastern guys that don't live in that neighborhood. They just open a business in that neighborhood, and then they make money there, and then they get in their cars and they drive to wherever it is they actually live, which is a completely different area. I find it really interesting because the people who actually live in those areas don't often they have a very difficult time starting businesses. And I think that it has to do with the fact that there's a couple things at play here, and I don't want to make this about me, but I think that partly it's because they have been told most of their lives that to try to make their own way would not work out for them, because they're basically just hard done by and they're victims of the system, and so they don't really make an effort. And I think that's really unfortunate, but I do think that that's a large factor. So, however, like I said before, where I live, it's not bad at all. It used to be really bad, but now there's like condos and there's a wine tasting place here, and so yeah. I mean, once you have a wine tasting place, I think you've pretty much.
I was going to say that's a sign of it.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So, what part of Australia are you guys in?
We're in Melbourne, in Victoria, so down the south end of Australia.
Bottom.
Okay. Have you guys heard of other Australian YouTubers that talk about anti-feminist stuff, like Bane, for example?
Yeah, Bane's probably about the only one. Oh, and No Holds Barred is a good one as well. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, I don't know a hell of a lot that talk about that particular topic. No.
Yeah.
Do you know more?
Do I know of any?
Yeah.
There's one other guy I know of. His name is Spetsnaz. If you've never heard of him, you should look him up. He does. It's like kind of like anti-feminist MGTOW, and also just sort of male, like pro-male kind of stuff. Spetsnaz has really good videos. He doesn't make them very often.
How do you spell that?
Spetsnaz, Spetznaz, like the Special Forces Russian military unit. And yeah, his videos are usually like 45, sometimes half hour, 45 minutes long, and it's super serial. His videos are super serial, so you're not gonna really get a laugh out of them. So yeah, but they're good stuff though.
Very good.
Speaking of which, of Australia, so I've always thought, and I've never been there, obviously, but I've always thought of Australia as a pretty manly place because you guys have like rugby and poisonous critters.
Fucking Crocodile Dundee and shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. And like Hugh Jackman, guy's manly as fuck. So
yeah, he's a bit of a faggot.
He sings and dances like a dream.
Well, you say what was that? What was that? Sugartits?
I said, yet he sings and dances like a dream.
Oh well, yeah, he's fully adaptable. I think that he may be a machine that they program like what we need. Like, oh, we need Broadway, sing and dance routine. Let's program it into Jackman. Now we need, you know, I don't know. Like we need a guy to grow a massive beard and do Les Miserables. Let's program it into Jackman.
I like to
This is why
think of
actors are all
Wolverine
sort of
on Broadway.
Yeah.
This is why actors are all so short, because it's just easier to build small robots.
Exactly. The actors are small robots that build other small robots because they charm the populace with their views, and people just take, oh, an actor said it, so it must be valid. So I'm just gonna go ahead and eat that up. Yeah, I'm talking to you. What's your name? Fucking what's that woman that talked about the wage gap like a year ago? Oh well, fuck it, whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
It was
There's a few of them.
Like
Helen.
Wenches, wasn't it?
What was that?
It was one of those Arquette.
Yes, Patricia Arquette. It was Patricia Arquette. Yes, that's right. And then like Helen Mirren. I remember she was talking about, what was it? When a man puts his arm around a woman, he's like taking ownership of her or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And I immediately looked. I went and did a search for Helen Mirren with her husband, and I found a photo of him with his arm around her. And I actually made a meme. It was I took the photo and I put on there. I don't always put my arm around a woman, but when I do, I assert ownership. So yeah, Helen Mirren owned. So yeah, so do you guys have? And speaking of like what I was just talking about, do you guys also have what they call in the UK? I believe they call it lad culture or ladism, I think. Do you guys have something like that in Australia?
The boys, yeah. I think every country's got it.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the chicks here have it, man.
Oh, the women, the girls have it too?
No, they're joking. No,
Oh, okay. Well, they ought to. I mean,
I guess we call it ladette culture over here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know, girls going out on drinking shit tons of vodka and then scratching each other's eyes out at the end of the night.
Oh yeah.
I don't know
we've
why
had
we
some
call them
horrible
ladettes
shows.
though. We've already got a word. It's called lasses.
yes.
It's lads and lasses, and yet we've decided to call debaucherous ladies ladettes. What the fuck happened to the word lasses?
There was a show about that, wasn't there? What's that show you watched? Tits about ladettes or something? It was a British one.
I don't know. There's a really old one where they did an Australian one where they take really rough chicks from Australia over to that manor.
Yeah, they get sluts and make them not sluts, basically. Yeah. Anyway, it was called something
they put them
ladettes
through
or something.
finishing school.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Huh.
Teach them to be real women, like how to iron and cook and shit.
Oh, the patriarchy made a show.
Ladette to lady.
That's it.
Yeah, ladette to lady. Somebody in the comments just said that. What's okay? So I mean to comment on what Mike is saying. I think that lass might be seen as too feminine, and ladette is the maybe that's why they're doing it. Like when I think
which is indicative of a deeper problem, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
That the name we ordinarily, presumably there's some kind of Celtic language that actually called boys lads and girls lasses. I think, or it might just be sort of Scottish.
Oh, it sounds like it. It sounds like they would have been, doesn't it?
But this is how words evolve. For some reason, the word lad evolved into a fucking scuffer, one of those, and the word lass simply evolved into a bonny wee lass. Nothing wrong with a lass, eh? This is it's the same as for some reason we gave the word for slave to male children and the word for children to female children.
Small person, yes. Do you guys? Somebody told me about in Australia that you have sports commentary. I don't know how much of that stuff you watch. That is very un-PC, and there's a lot of shit talking and stuff like that.
Sports commentary that's un-PC. I wouldn't have thought so.
No.
Actually, Tits watches more sports than me. I'm a fucking lazy cunt.
Yeah.
Tits, does that happen or what?
I guess so. If you think about the footy show, you might say there's a bit of a lad culture on that. Like I don't
The
find
footy show.
Yeah, it's Australian rules football.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds like that might be touching on what we're talking about. See, here in the States, the sports and I'm not a sports person myself, but I've observed that here in the United States, our sports are extremely PC. People they lose their jobs, their careers are ruined, and they have to really be careful about what they say. Pretty much, sports is, I wouldn't say it's dead because obviously it still like rakes in millions of dollars, but in terms of the culture around it, it's in a great deal of danger, and there's a lot of politically correct language that floats around. Yeah, it's really bad.
Oh, look, when those commentators got in trouble for laughing at those dumb bimbo fucking chicks in the stand taking selfies of themselves, they did absolutely nothing wrong, but they got fucking closed in on, didn't they? They got in heaps of trouble for that.
Oh yes, they did get in a lot of trouble. I remember there was one guy. It was some years back. He was a commentator for the WNBA, which is the Women's Basketball Association here. And
so the shit one.
Yeah, the one no one watches. Yes, nobody watches the WNBA. I hate to say it. Good. What is it? The Amazon said on Futurama. Good fundamentals. But that's about it. So
Those
no one.
Are massive though.
Yeah, no, they are. They are. But he was commenting, and they were talking about how aggressive they were. Now, normally, if you were watching a male sports event, you could make comments about the way the guys were playing or their behavior, and there wouldn't be any backlash. But in this case, the guy who was doing the announcing, he called them, when they were talking about how aggressive the players were, one of the guys used the term nappy-headed hoes. He said, those are some nappy-headed hoes. That cost him his career. I mean, he was done after that. The funny thing is, though, if he had used language that was sort of parallel to describe male players, then it would have been fine. But when that happened, I thought it was freaking hilarious. But him losing essentially his career ending over it was pretty. I thought it was pretty extreme. But I think it's probably been going on before that. But that was certainly a sign of the times where to comment on sports stuff, or even just like the behavior of sports athletes, was in danger here in the States. Like we look very closely at what men, specifically what men do that are athletes, and what they do in their personal life. And if they don't have a completely clean record, there are feminists and SJWs that will try to ruin that person's career. Ironically, though, if a woman is violent, like to a female athlete, or does stuff, they tend to forgive or overlook or otherwise excuse her behavior.
Well, it may seem like sports is sort of a male-dominated arena, but the media has for some time been a female-dominated arena. You know, it's the women that do the complaining. It's the women that seem to make all the decisions, and sport would be nothing like as popular as it is without the media. If if there were still 7 billion people here, but we didn't have TVs and shit, then we wouldn't be packing out stadiums and sports teams because nobody would be watching it. You know, you build the shelves and they if you build it, they will come, I think is the appropriate phrase. Yeah. So even though sports may be almost entirely male, it is beholden to the broadcast media industry, which is, like I say, feminists pretty much own it at this point. So of course you can get sacked for offending the PC mob, because feminists are in charge of the PC mob.
Yeah.
There was one example in Australian rules football down here that I thought was sort of representative of how Australians view, PC bullshit. So that one of our Australian of the Year, I think it was he won 2-3 years ago. His name's Adam Goods, and he's a football player for Sydney. And I think someone in the crowd, it was like a 14-year-old girl, yelled out "monkey" or something.
He's an Aboriginal football player, by the way.
By the way, yeah, sorry. He's an Aboriginal football player. And he sort of stopped the whole game. He walked over to her and pointed his finger at her and had her ejected from the game. And then
A 14-year-old girl.
Yeah,
Wow.
then it was this massive story, like on the media following was nuts. As they shamed her, like absolutely, ridiculed her. And ever since then, like, there's been a bit of a sore spot with him. And a couple of years ago, the crowd were booing him. It became this sort of a culture that every time he had the ball, everyone in the crowd would boo him.
It's funny as fuck.
And he one particular match, he had enough. He turned around at a couple of fans and sort of acted out that he was throwing a spear at them, like a war dance. And and then that made him even more unpopular. And then this whole thing tried to come out where the media was going, Australians have got a bad racist culture, like it's a big problem. Everyone in Australia is racist, and no
one in the public sort of were going along with that sentiment, were they? Tits? It was the media telling us what we are, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And the best thing was, I remember going to the football, and I think we were playing Sydney, and everyone was just, everyone still kept booing him and booing him. People don't like to be told that they're racist when you're not racist. It's like,
yeah.
But anyway, it ended up, he ended up quitting I think, because of it.
And so then we gave him Australian of the Year. Fucking smart.
No, that was before he quit. But apparently he wants to get into politics now.
Oh, fucking awesome.
Oh, great. People don't accept my views, so now I'm going to force them by becoming a politician. Awesome. I hope that goes over really well for him. I'm sure it will. So, Allison and Karen recently did a rant zerker on Chris Gale. Do you guys know about that?
Oh, yeah. I did a video on him.
Oh, you did? Okay. So, I was just going to ask, what did the citizens of Australia, how did they react to that? And then what do you think about that? It says the news report that was used in the video really made a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tits, you can handle this one.
I think it was hilarious. I think the media completely they do what they always do. They blew it up at it into this crazy thing. And you can tell even the female reporter who was involved, like, she was completely embarrassed about the whole thing. She did a follow-up interview basically saying he's apologized. I've accepted his apology, and we can all move on. And it kept going for like following 2-3 weeks after this incident. It was just every feminist with a keyboard,
or a news mic,
in their 2 cents about rampant sexism in sports. Women can't be taken seriously. Like, it's hard enough for women to get jobs as commentators in male sports. Like, they don't deserve to be put through this sexist, sexism in their work in their place of profession. And
how is trying to pick up a chick sexist? I don't understand that.
In my video is a great example of there's another female commentator. It's the same guy, actually. It's pretty funny. He sort of hits on her a bit too, and she just handles it so much better. She just like smiles and shrugs it off, and then she goes along with it, and there's nothing awkward about it. I thought it was really professional. Whereas this other one, that was terrible. Like, it is your profession, right? Like, you don't want to have unfair treatment between women and men, like in their place of profession. You have to be professional. So don't sit there and don't stand there and roll your eyes and make it this awkward situation.
Yeah. I cannot for the life of me think of a time when it's not a good time to hit on a woman that you want to hit on. I can't think of one. I mean, you can hit on the worst time that somebody could probably tell me is that, like, while she's taking a shit. And I'm like, no, because that's actually a really good time because she can't exactly just get up and leave. She has to finish. So.
Are you married or?
No, I'm not married. I'm not married. I'm engaged. But no, I'm not married. I'm just making a joke. I think it's, why not? Okay, so who are your favorite anti-feminist YouTubers? What are some of the people that you also like?
Sargon of a cat, like every other cunt. Did you hear? I did a live stream with him the other day, and I just giggled all the way through it. Just giggled at him. It was pretty awkward.
Yeah.
Who's mine bearing?
What?
Who's mine?
Me.
No.
Oh.
Oh, fucked if I know. I'm not guessing. Who is it?
Besides you, who's the first one that sort of?
It's Dr. Random McCam, isn't it?
Yeah.
Big sweet Dr. Random
Who's
McCam.
sort of got me
Dr.
able
Random
to bear
McCam.
watching the videos.
Yeah. He's
There
not
you
even
go.
saying it. He doesn't give a fuck. He just made
No,
it feel awkward.
I was reacting over the other voices. I think I'm one at the bottom of the sound heap for some reason.
Yeah.
I'm all embarrassed now.
Oh no, don't be embarrassed.
Yeah, I'm not really.
He's already over it.
Hat. I think it was the hat. There's something really lovable about that hat. Something soft with all this evil feminist subject matter coming your way. You just like focus on the hat and maintain your zen.
And the songs. The
it's very
songs are
popular.
fucking brilliant.
Thanks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we should collab. Why
Fucking
haven't we
hell, we
collaborated?
Yeah, had someone say that.
I was just gonna suggest that because my next thing was gonna be about your music, and I was thinking that there are like quite a few pretty talented people musically within this sort of anti-feminist, MRA, Gamergate, all that sort of anti-authoritarian bullshit community,
Is that
and
right?
I think there's a few, yeah. I mean, I've seen Vernaculus do some music, and of course Mike does music, and oh yeah, and then like the people in GG have done a few songs, so I think there's actually quite a bit of opportunity to perhaps collab on something.
In
Plus-
what did you say? GG, is that Gamergate?
Yeah, GG is Gamergate, but yes. They've made quite a few songs. I think Mike's been involved with some of the Gamergate songs too, haven't you?
No. I
No?
just sat on my own occasionally making a Gamergate song while
Yeah.
Gamergate was doing Gamergate Sings. Took months before I sort of went, hey guys, I'm here.
I've seen people actually leave comments on our videos saying that if we had an album, they would totally buy it. Like if we took all of Mike's songs and maybe like if you had some songs, we could probably do that. I don't know. Just something I'm throwing out there, something to think about. What do you?
Let's do an album.
Yeah, musically, what do you play, Barry? And Sugartits, if you play too. I don't know.
Yeah. Sugartits is a really good musician. I play a bit of everything. I'm a guitarist. I started on the guitar, but I play, I sing, I play piano, I play bass, I do my own percussion and shit. Sugartits is a brilliant singer. It'll take a bit to get her to sing, but she's fucking talented. She's seriously, she's heaps better than me.
There you go.
Sorry. But I have what do you call it? Performance anxiety. So, and I'm also extremely critical of myself. I feel like
sing.
no.
So
Like-
so if I said right now, Moon Age Daydream, David Bowie, go. Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, Bohemian Rhapsody?
Yes.
Wait, oh my god, it's too early in the morning for my brain to function. Think of Wayne's World. I'm trying to think of Wayne's World.
Wayne's World. I'm just a little boy. You could just start in the middle. That's fine. Just start in the middle, or you know what? Do Under Pressure. Do you know that one? Because that's a duet, and like somebody can just be Freddie, and somebody can be Bowie, and
No, I will get Sugartits to record something. We'll chuck it up real soon. But
Ace of Spades by No, it's fine. Um,
By the way, it doesn't help with like performance anxiety
Ace
to
of
throw songs
spades.
at someone.
to throw, yeah, I know. I'm not about helping. I'm about making things
Why are you
more
so
awkward.
anxious?
Yeah, just do it. Stairway to Heaven. Okay, so
I can play that. That was the first song I learned to play on the guitar.
that's funny. Well, of course, that's another Wayne's World thing, right?
Yeah. No stairway denied.
No,
You can't play Stairway with a plectrum, by the way. Yeah, keep
No, you
coming
can't.
back.
No.
Plectrum is path to dark side. You cannot play Stairway with a plectrum.
No,
Unless
I
you want
don't.
it in 2 fingers somehow, or so, I don't know.
Everybody wants her to sing. I think they want us all to sing. They're
You could do it with Doc. You could probably do it with one of those thumb plectrums. You know those gay thumb plectrums.
Yeah, I always grow my nail long on that thumb, so I've always got a
cool.
plectrum there. So shit,
Yeah.
maybe I didn't just drop the plectrum; I grew one on my thumb, I suppose.
I always thought they looked a bit creepy. How the real classical, hardcore classical guitarists, they have one, depending on if they're left-handed or right-handed, have one hand that's just got super long, rounded, manicured nails, and then the other one's just dog shit.
She's
Really?
taking you on an emotional roller coaster here, isn't she, Doc? You're my hero. You're a freaky cunt. Fuck, make up your mind.
I didn't say he was a freaky cunt. I said that.
Yeah, oh,
I
you
don't.
implied it, though.
No, yeah, I do have. Well, you can sort of. I can tell how long it's been since I played the guitar by how long the nails are on my left hand. They're quite long at the moment. But yeah, very often.
Does the guitar strings wear it down? Does that happen?
Do the strings wear the nails down?
Well, your big thumbnail that you grow.
No, it grows faster than it gets worn down, I think, basically. Yeah, nails are pretty tough stuff,
Yeah.
It's not quite bone, but it's getting there.
I wonder what our
Oh,
nails are going to be like in like 200 years. If they're going to be like claws. All right.
Why in 200 years?
No, probably not much different. Not in 200 years.
Have you seen the Guinness Book World? I'm sorry, really early. What is it? The Guinness Book World? No. Okay.
Yeah, we know what you're talking about.
Someone help me.
The Guinness Book of World Records.
The fucking
Yeah,
Guinness Book,
that's
yes.
it.
Yeah,
the people who grow their nails.
The guy who grows his nails really long and they like curl
Yeah.
around and stuff. Yeah.
Oh my god! Or the yogis. How some, what do you call it? Keep one hand up, and that's their way of praising God, and they never cut their nails, so they've got this like full-on anorexic looking arm.
Yeah, it's freaky. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah, that's pretty freaky. I have a letter here I want to read to you guys. We got an email. We already responded to it, but I want to get your take. We get a lot of mail at topic@badgerpod.com. Totally not a shill. I'm just saying you could send us one if you wanted. And here goes. Okay, so it's Australian, so I figured I'll share. Hello, Badgers.
So, hang on. So this is an Australian guy or something?
Yes, this is an Australian guy who wrote to us.
You got to do the accent.
I can't. I'm terrible at the accent. I can't do it. It'll sound like ass. Hello, Badgers. My name is Sean, and I'm a doctoral student, doctoral student in Australia who enjoys listening to your videos. Although I don't always agree with every opinion on your videos, I enjoy how they challenge mainstream thinking and gender discussion on gender perception in the West. I peruse the daily news in Australia every morning, and I also keep abreast of news in the scientific field as well as certain international issues. Abreast, giggity. I've also taken to pursuing news in the U.S., particularly in the recent kerfuffle in college campuses. I'm looking at international research institutes for future occupation. I'm unsure of what you are looking for in a news hound, but I can provide weekly updates of news concerning gender issues down under, such as this post by a feminist of why she reported a man to his employees after calling her a slut. And apparently there's an article from a website called dailylife.com.
I love that website.
Yes.
Clementine
Oh,
Ford.
we're talking about
Clementine
Clementine. Yeah, Clementine
We
Ford.
got this letter a couple of months ago.
The clam.
We thought it was pertinent.
Yes, the clam. The clam. I think
Speak
some of the
clam.
badgers will be frothing at this. I can also provide opinions on scientific news, such as this recent report that there is no distinct difference between male and female brains. What? Oh, and then there's a link from a website called ScienceAlert.com.
So hang on, is he saying I can also what's he saying? I can also provide feedback on why this is the case. Was that the context?
I'm guessing that he's looking to probably debunk this because he is a science student going into that. Because we often run into, especially when it comes to this male-female brain. Lacey Green just recently did a video on her Brawless channel where she brought an expert on, and the expert said that there is no difference between male and female brains, and it's all socialization. And of course, Lacey stood there and was shocked at the revelation that this was the case, and you can totally see it on her face. So we've been hearing a lot about that, but it's all coming from sort of like sociological circles and areas that are, well, not real biological, sort of.
Bullshit.
Yeah, it's all bullshit. I mean, in my opinion, sociology is bullshit. Period. I mean, that's the way I see it. I think that because it starts with inherent bias, essentially. And essentially, like, sociology, I just don't buy. But if I'm open to being proven wrong on it, but so far, all of it seems to be, we have this idea, we want to push this idea, how do we do it? Well, we have this new science, it's called sociology. And all it is basically conducting, most of the time, it's surveys of, questionable samples, sample sizes with misleading questions. That's how Mary Koss ended up getting the 1 in 4 rape statistic.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, she was deciding who the rape victims were, like, based on her opinion, and she.
Yeah, well, she was asking shady questions like, have you ever had sex with someone? I mean, basically the big one is, have you ever had sex with a man? Because if this was only asked of women, that was another thing. While under the influence of alcohol or drugs, and then you didn't want to, or when you didn't want to. And the overwhelming majority of women that said that essentially were picked out for the "yes, I've been raped" crowd were women who actually said yes to that question. So, but many, like a large percentage of those women, when sort of like reapproached later, and they were asked, like, do you feel that you were raped? Because, of course, when you make these surveys, it's people who are participating don't know what they're participating for. So they're not being asked, like, they're not being told, this is to determine whether or not you've been raped, here are the questions. They just say, here are the questions, answer them honestly. And then after that, they say, oh, shit, you've been raped, But when those women were actually asked after the fact, a large percentage of them, I want to say it was like over 70%, but I'm not certain, said that when they were asked directly, do you feel that you were raped in this instance, they said no. And a majority of those women actually went on to date those guys or have sex with them again.
I was just going to say that. That's right. Yeah. What a crock of shit.
Yeah.
That's fucked, isn't it?
So, I mean, and it's basically, like that's the thing about what I've noticed with sociology. And in fact, a lot of times when feminist studies come out, they're often sociological and they're often misleading, manipulated. This deals with the wage gap, the rape culture, the domestic violence, all of those things, essentially. Catcalling, all that bullshit. So it's all about like how.
Did we lose Brian or did we lose me?
Oh, I think we did.
I think so.
We lost Brian. Shit. Okay, what were we up to? What were we saying? I was drifting.
Oh, I think he was talking about that. He was talking about that letter, wasn't he? Did that still have anything to do with that letter, the Australian guy's letter?
I think so.
I think he was talking about the fabrication of, statistics about wage gaps and stuff.
But that wasn't in the letter, though, was it? That was
No.
just something.
That's just where he was up to.
Yeah. No, that Mary Koss survey was bullshit. I read about that a few months ago, and it was just absolutely ridiculous.
So yeah, I guess we may have just been trying to give you a lead in to talk about Clementine Ford, if you like.
Oh yeah. Clementine's fucked. Clementine's.
Horrible.
Yeah. Hey Doc, your last song was fucking awesome. We pissed ourselves laughing.
Oh,
that
yeah.
chick with the keyboard or whatever she had.
The rap thing.
Yeah.
So
No, that wasn't
good.
really a song. I wouldn't call that a song. That's just.
Mate, that was a piece. It was a
just
piece.
a track. A joint. I believe they call it a joint, darling.
Did you get a reaction from her? Do you get a reaction from people where you fuck with their songs?
Not often. Occasionally, like Johnny Mann and Israel Kane were both very pleased about it. They both went, "Oh, hey, that's awesome." And sometimes they're less nice. But the problematic Kawagi
Hello.
took it down immediately.
I see that you are in difficulty, so I have to come back.
Brian, something failed with Brian.
Oh yeah, he's been having serious difficulties with either his internet or his connection, or something's going on with his computer. So we can try to keep this going till he gets back on. I'm on my shitty mic, so it's not going to sound very good. But we can do what we can.
That sounds alright.
How did you go with your personnel, or was it your personnel that you said or something?
Yeah, it's good. It's going.
What does that mean? Does that mean staff or something?
It's people being people doing dramas, stuff like that. It's no big deal.
Fantastic.
It's just what you do when you're dealing with lots of different people.
So do you just listen to the stream like on some earbuds while you're doing other stuff to see if like we fuck it up or not?
I keep an eye out to see what's going on, so I'll fly in something fucking up way beyond someone's ability to handle. In this case, Brian dropping out. You know, it's sort of my job to keep tabs on the things that are going on and make sure that even if they don't run smoothly, they still run. Yeah. Okay. So he had a series of questions, and I will open them up. You described your experience of becoming anti-feminist?
We just got past Sean's letter.
Sean's letter. All right.
We're just talking about that basically.
So did you get to the question? Would you say there's a lot of feminists in Australia?
Yeah. We did that one. So I think he was reading the letter. I think he was near the end of the letter, and he was going to ask us something about the letter.
Oh yeah, did he inform you that Sean is also a part of Honey Badger Brigade right now? He's helping us with translating articles from Australian into English.
Oh right. Yeah, fair enough. You've only got one employee for that.
Yeah, no. Well, you know, we have the one that does the first pass, and then another one takes it from middle between Australian and English. You see, Sean takes it from Australian to a midway between Australian and English, and then we have someone who's English is their main language, and they take it all the rest of the way.
Fair enough.
So yeah, let me just open that up, and we'll try to go forward with that one.
Sure.
Okay, I believe the findings of a spectrum. Oh, this is bio stuff. I wonder if we should.
This fella's bio.
Yeah, he's a scientist. Okay. I can also. Oh, this is what he was offering. Apparently, okay. I peruse the daily media in Australia every morning, and I can provide weekly updates of news concerning gender issues down under, such as this post by a feminist about why she reported a man to his employers for calling her a slut. And of course, we have Clementine Ford. Why I reported hotel supervisor Michael Nolan's abusive comment to his employer.
Yeah.
Did you see this?
Oh yeah, it's fucked. It's such a double standard. She's a fucking idiot, Clementine.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen this, but if you guys want to, what's it like sharing a nation with Clementine Ford?
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. It really is. I think about it all the time. Like, she lives in our city. Even that's fucked. I can smell her armpits. Yeah, she lives in Melbourne.
Oh.
She's on the other side of it.
Is she often doing something heroic?
Well, she's often in the news because she writes a fucking column. How she got that, I don't know.
Oh.
Media.
Yeah.
She writes some shitty column.
Do you
Did you know she's a rolly derby chick? She's one of those like big lesbians. How funny is that? You'd see her doing it, can't you? Big Clementine.
Do you
I think I
sometimes
made
like
up my work. All right. So